Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Priscilla and I make YouTube videos about career, travel and lifestyle, and I take you on a journey with me as I grow up, as I adult, as I learn and unlearn, make mistakes and shed some tears, celebrate some wins. So I just take you along on my life journey. So 5 things I did in my 20s that I'm grateful for in my 30s. No particular order, right? I want to start with my masters. Oh my god, guys, I am so grateful that I did my masters at the time that I did it. And it's a story time, I guess, for another time, but I'll just give you a brief background. So I feel like I'm so far from the camera. Let me come in a bit. Yeah, okay. So I did my masters. Yeah, this is much better, right? I did my masters in 2014. Yes, in South Africa. I was a dad scholar. It was a scholarship. Very, very privileged to have been among the few that was selected, and I'm so happy I did it at the time when I did it, because looking back, I don't think I'd have been able to take off time now to be able to do it. But also the things that I'm able to do now were opened up simply because of that master's opportunity. I met amazing people. Number one, imagine we are still in touch over 10 years ago. I mean, we lost one of my very dear former classmate. May his soul rest in peace, Chiwala. Anyway, so doing my masters at the time when I did it, I honestly feel like it changed my life, not only academically but also in terms of personal growth. That was the first time I was living away from home, away from everyone, from all my networks, away from my social circle. So it was such a challenging time, but also such a growing space. I discovered so many things about myself. I discovered things that I liked, things that I didn't like. I really realized that I am Christian by choice. And not by anything, any other reason. So I'm really happy for that. So I was saying that I did my masters in I'm a lawyer, so it was an LLM, and over and above the academics and the paper and the graduation, it was such an eye-opening experience. I remember we spent some time in Berlin, my first time in Europe, and oh my god, it was amazing. I discovered I'm obsessed with shopping. That was when I realized, oh my god, I love shopping. I enjoyed the experience, just learning about new cultures, learning Dutch. I mean, I can't pronounce any word now. It's been so many years and I've not practiced. So I think that for me, doing my master's at the time when I did it in my 20s really prepared me for life in my 30s, because I feel like my travel bag had always been there. But sometimes you are so limited by your surroundings that you do not think beyond them. But when I had that opportunity, it just opened me up to so many things. It was such an amazing opportunity. We used to have like a small stipend, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to try to even save every coin and every penny to go back home and buy a car or buy land. No, I am going to enjoy this experience. So I can tell you, I milked that opportunity. I made amazing friends, and I'm so happy. Like, I think that for me was such a great thing, that I feel like the knowledge I learned in my other masters and the skills have been so influential in my life now. I would never have gotten this job if it wasn't for my masters. So I feel like that really prepared me for life in my 30s. That's number one. Then number two, in my 20s, you guys know I feel like I've told this story so many times, and you guys are going to say, oh my god, it's a broken record. However, I will still say it. In my 20s, I was in a relationship, a very amazing relationship that didn't turn out to be amazing. And I got engaged, and I called off my engagement. I've done so many story times about that. There's a podcast that Connectivity has hosted me on, and I've shared in depth. So if you want to hear more about that, just go there. I did a video on my YouTube channel about that, so you can also check that out. But the lessons that I learned from that experience have been so instrumental in my dating. I have walked away from not many relationships, but I've walked away from situations that have not favored me, and sometimes it's not easy. Of course, it doesn't mean that I don't have fear. I don't still romanticize things I should not romanticize. It still happens. Sometimes you're in a situation where you shouldn't be, but you're like, he's good, he's kind, but it's not working. So yeah, but I feel like I learned so much about myself in that situation and that relationship and that thing ending, and I realized that I have I'm in charge of my life, not in the way that I disregard God, but me and God are together. So it's not like things are happening to me. You know, I have agency over my life. I can actually make life altering decisions. I can change my life around. And I think for me, that was really, really, really mind blowing. And I also tapped into a new level of, not I don't care, but a new level of living life on my own terms. You know, I've talked about this before. I was a people pleaser in my past life, and sometimes it creeps in here and there, but in my past it used to be so, it used to creep on me literally, you know. And in my 20s, I think I was just on autopilot. I was not living life intentionally. So I feel like that experience really changed me for the better. Like it changed me for the better. I know what I want. I am open to being held accountable. I discovered so many things about myself, and I'm so happy that that happened at the time that it did. Yeah, that is number two. Number three, another thing that I feel like I did in my 20s that I'm grateful for in my 30s is that I took my spiritual life very, very serious. Guys, life, eh? I honestly don't know how people who are non-spiritual or who don't pray or who do not believe in a higher power or God do it, you know, because I feel like life in your 30s can sometimes be the ghetto. It is amazing, don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but trust me, life in your 30s can sometimes be super, super, super scary. And there's decisions to be made, life altering decisions. You're always on the go, 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 go. And I feel like, you know, that can just in itself be so unnerving, be so stressful. And given that in your 30s, you're like, you know, you have to, there's so much pressure to be married, to have a beautiful wife, a beautiful husband, a beautiful family, to have a career that is, you're making it, to have property, to have multiple streams of income, to be fit. Like, oh my God, there's just so many expectations of you as a 30-year-old person. And I feel like sometimes my faith, not sometimes, all the times, my faith has been that one thing that has just kept me grounded and kept me going even when times are so bad. Like, I've known loss at a personal level in my 30s, and I've lost friendships. My friendships have been in the rocks. I've lost opportunities that I was really looking forward to. But I feel like because of God and because of my faith, I was able to come out strong, to look at the positive, and I'm really, really, really happy for that. You know, I feel like I'm so happy I did that in my 20s because I've only been building. You know, it's not perfect, but things have been getting better and better every other day. Then another thing that I'm grateful for in my that I did in my 20s that my 30-year-old self is super grateful is in my 20s, guys. Fresh from school, I took an unpaid internship. That internship I did that internship for almost, I think, 7 months, or coming to a year. Guys, come in Uganda, you do, if you're not Ugandan, you watch my channel, yes, we those jobs that you're gonna do internships for so long. And yeah, it's but in our days, I don't know how it is now, but in our days internships were unpaid. And guys, I remember I walked one of my friend at that time. She was a year older than me, and I used to look up to her in terms of human rights and the work that we're doing. So I walked up to her and asked her, what do I need to do to get into this space? Because, you know, you're in this space, you're thriving, you're doing well, what do I need to do? And I asked her, and what she told me was that, you know what, no one is going to employ you without any skills because they're going to be teaching you from the start. So why don't you actually try to take up an unpaid internship? It's easier. People will ask someone to take a chance on you. And then she was very gracious. She gave me her employer's number, and I went to her employer and asked. I presented myself, my CV, you know, fresh from law school, and yeah. And the gentleman, the ED at the time, was very gracious. He said, okay, you can come and you can work. I didn't know anything that time. I'd never worked in a non-for-profit. It was my first time. And guys, it was an experience, both good and bad. I learned a lot, you know, a lot. I think most of the things I know today I learned from there. Of course, you keep learning as you go along, but that was such a good starting point. However, it was also a little bit toxic, truth be told. And if people who know that place are watching this video, let us accept, guys, it was a little bit toxic. I remember my boss at that time, he would scream at me, and he was telling me how much I'm using half of my brain. He would say, you're very smart, you went to all these nice schools, but you're using half of your brain. And this is in a meeting. I'm an intern, fresh from law school, and this is how you know, I was, the good thing is that I was a very positive person. I was a very grounded person, and I'm a person who does not take things at heart. I release negative energy pretty quickly back to sender. That is my motto. So it was very easy for me to like reject his projections onto me and say, that's not who I am, that is what you think, but that's not who I am, you know. So it was very easy for me, but also it wasn't easy for everyone else who was on the team. Like, you know, he would be so mean to other people, and I understand he may have been under stress running an organization, but come on, that's not how you do stuff. Yeah, so it was a learning experience for me, and I'm really glad I took that opportunity, because I feel like after that 1 year, it didn't end well, guys. It didn't end well. Let me tell you the story. I'd been at that place for 1 year, and I'd been promised a job position, because like there was positions that are going to be advertised, right? So I applied. They told me, no, I didn't even apply. They told me, no need to apply because you're already here. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the positions came. They didn't give me. They gave them to my position to some other girl who had come after me, you know. And I felt so rejected. I felt so broken. I had been here serving for 1 year, and I'm like, this is it, you know. And I had to leave because they told me there's no space for me. I had to leave. But I recall that leaving that internship opened me up for my master's, because I was never ever going to think about doing my master's at the time I did if I was still having that internship, you know. So I feel like that internship changed my life. It opened the door for me to apply for my master's, but it also taught me a lot about non-for-profit, and it also taught me the kind of environment I didn't want to work in. And I made a promise to myself that I will not work for certain organizations that treat people like that. And I'm happy that, you know, I've not had that negative experience ever again, but it was such a good learning space. So I feel like for me, that really made so much sense. So I think those are some of the things that I feel like I did in my 20s that really turned my life in my 30s around, and I'm so glad I did them. I'm so glad I did them, because I feel like if I had never, I would never have been where I am. I mean, I guess I would have reached there, but you know, the detour, and I don't know, I mean, the journey would have been different, you know. So I'm super excited and super glad that I did that. And the last thing, guys, is in my 20s, I don't remember how old exactly. I should have been like around 25 there, 20, like we're out of school, yeah. I don't remember exactly how old, but I remember I joined my first circle. So if you don't Ugandan, a circle, how do I say, like a cooperative if you're Kenyan, and if you're South African, I have some South African viewers, like I don't know how to say it, like a merry-go-round, or like a saving circle, you know, a saving scheme, but among friends. I joined a saving scheme, and we used to contribute 150k at that time, and it was like a merry-go-round, you know. And it was my first time to actually intentionally save, not in a bank, because I do not like saving in a bank, guys. Don't put your money in the bank sitting there. It's losing value. It's not working for you. But anyway, so I remember I did that, and people would borrow that money, and they'd come back with with interest and stuff like that. And for me, I think it was one of my first experiences to see how important saving is, but also different vehicles of saving and what trust and partnership can do, you know. So I'm so glad I did that, because I went ahead to join very many other circles after. At work, I joined like 2, you know, I would save, like people would borrow and bring interest and stuff like that. Like I joined quite a number of other circles, including now today I'm like in 2 other circles. So I feel like that really helped me to start cultivating the discipline of saving, because if you like need a quick loan, you can get one from the circle. And trust me, if you're following me, I'm on a journey of constructing my house, my farmhouse. No, not really farmhouse, but countryside sort of. So yeah, like, and it's been very good for me to have that circle, because there's a temptation when you're doing such a project to just finish all your money on that project and not be liquid. But when you're in these saving circles, they force you to save, like, so it's been really, really good for me to have joined those circles. So I'm super glad that I did those things. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Those are some of the things I did in my 30s. I want to hear in my 20s. I want to hear from you in your comments. What are those things you did in your 20s if you're in your 30s? And what are those things that you are doing now that you feel are setting you up for your baby girl life, for your soft life? Because honestly, I feel like this, I would know my soft life was started. I started setting my soft life up like from way back. Like the sacrifices I've been making and the opportunities that God has been bringing my way. They've been all setting me up for all this soft life, baby girl life. So anyway, please subscribe, leave a comment down below, and let's chat again.